Welcome back to Mark and Nick's excellent film podcast. I'm Mark.
And I'm Nicholas.
And today we watched, Nicholas,
Hey,
you know what? I always
I'll
take
do it.
over. I always do all this stuff. Why don't you take it from here?
I was like, I don't ever want to do the intro, the first bit. But so today we watched The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. If you remember last week.
2 weeks ago, actually.
Oh, yes, 2 weeks ago. Oh, what was this?
We did Over the Edge, and then we did Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, yes. I forgot about our little special in there. This movie I picked, Mark's influenced him a lot younger than mine did. But Secret Life of Walter Mitty, I think it's from 2013. I forget.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. It's a Ben Stiller movie. He directed and stars in it. And it's the basic premise is about a guy who's working at times. He's
life,
yeah. I always mix them up.
Time and life are very similar.
Yeah, and they're all one word.
Life has better photographs, though. They were more They were more photograph based, whereas time is more
story based.
That's
cool. So he is in charge of the photo processing department, and if something goes missing, and he goes on an adventure to go find it. And that's like the very basic intro.
Yeah, and he falls in love. He gets a not only does he fall in love, but he gets a lust for life. He begins to love life rather than being all cooped up in a cubicle.
Yeah,
it's one of those movies.
Yeah, it's very. It's
Hook without the flying.
Yeah, I could see that. A lot of daydreaming in both.
What's your opinion on Hook?
I think Hook's pretty good. I haven't seen it in a long time, but
I watched it a few months ago and I cried.
I like that one kid a lot.
Which one?
I think he has a mohawk.
Oh,
he has
Rufio.
like all this stuff in his hair. Yeah.
Rufio. I watched Hook and I cried.
I didn't cry at this.
I'm a man. I'm a grown man. I watched Hook and I cried. What do you want? Robin Williams gets to me.
He's a good actor. He still is, but
yeah.
So Mark's movie he watched super young and influenced him to become a punk.
Two very different.
Yes,
two very different life messages in these two films, which is ironic because they both have a punk rock undertone.
Yes, that is true. It's an interesting undertone in this because Walter Mitty, before he was kind of forced to get into the American dream of working 9 to 5. He was a little punk rocker, skateboarder kid, and then was oppressed into the molds that he is now.
Yeah. I think that Over the Edge's punk is more nihilistic, the nihilistic side of punk rock. The nothing matters, so fuck shit up. Walter Mitty's thing is everything matters, so let's go out and explore everything. Side of punk.
Yeah,
we want to learn everything. There's the two sides, the nihilistic side and the positive side, and they're both on the the extremes, which I think is funny because thematically we have a similarity there. I think that represents us both very, very much.
Yeah, and I don't know what it was about this movie. It was one of the first movies that I saw that I was like, I want to watch that again. Like that, I liked the feeling I had during that, and I've watched it a shit ton ever since.
How many times do you think you've seen this?
Probably more than 20. This was one that I'd put on, especially now I work from home. I'll try to throw on TV shows or something. This was a movie that I could throw on in the background whenever I was even just playing video games or something. I'd just have things on in the background, Lord of the Rings. Or
Nick is the man who needs constant stimulation.
Oh, it's terrible. I need to be multitasking. I'm working on it, but I need it. It's it's a never-ending fight.
Yeah,
but I don't daydream that much, so
anymore.
Yeah, I fought through it from my grand adventure to the.
Yeah, there's this thing in the film where they do daydream sequences, like these fantasy sequences that Walter Mitty is zoning out and he's imagining different scenarios, which is very similar to another film that I quite enjoy called Billy Liar from 1963, directed by John Sillinger. Very good film, very underrated movie. It's been lost to time, I feel, because it's a 1960s movie, British, and it's in black and white.
Ooh,
And-
3 strikes you're out.
Yeah. And it's pre-swinging London 60s Britain, so it's still like 1950s, like you're going to the coal mine Britain, like very poor, very not chic.
And I'm very interested in seeing this. I wouldn't be surprised if this was influenced by it. This is based on a short story called The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I think it's like 10 pages or something.
Have you read the short story?
I have once forever ago.
What's the difference?
It's it has nothing to do with the magazine and stuff. It's like they just imprinted this on it. It's more of the idea of like a guy who daydreams and then gets out of it.
Okay. I don't like that, but
I haven't read it in a while.
Billy Liar is a to diverge. Billy Liar's thing is about a guy who daydreams and is a compulsive liar whose dream is to leave his like little tiny British town, and once he gets the opportunity, he still rejects it because he wants to be miserable.
Yeah, it's more obviously happy story.
Yeah, this is the complete opposite of that, where this person needs to leave.
Yeah, he is living a life he doesn't want to live, is daydreaming about basically anything else, and then as he starts to explore different opportunities, he stops daydreaming. Talking about the daydream sequence, there's probably like 8 or 9. I would say 3 of them I hate and would cut out of the movie. And then the other ones I'm fine with.
Yeah, I think this is a mixed bag of a film. I like it, but
there's bad parts.
This isn't a film. Unlike the other films on this list, on the show that we've done, I do not love it like I love those movies. These aren't. This is not a 5-star movie for me personally. This is like when we were doing Bonding with Bond and we hit Goldfinger. I still love it, but I don't love it.
I don't think everybody will love this movie. I will watch it with people, but usually I don't recommend it to people. I'll tell people it's one of my favorite movies, but I realize that it is a very me thing.
Yeah.
It's not a little diamond in the rough.
I think the daydream sequences are good at first, but then
they get weird.
They get too much. And I think it's because it doesn't feel like Ben Stiller wanted as many as there are. Because I think that, like, the first few, like, when he daydreams in like, at the train station, he imagines that the girl he likes, he hears, like, a dog barking, he jumps through a thing, and a window building blows up, and he gives her dog, and it's just, like, whatever. Like, that one's fine. Him yelling at his boss in the elevator is fine. Him imagining the girl talking to him is fine. But when it's like the Stretch Armstrong sequence, I think that sucks.
Yeah, I don't like that one, or the Benjamin Button one is the other one that I cringe when it comes on.
The Benjamin Button one is the absolute worst. The best one, in my opinion, is the final one, which is the Major Tom.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Sequence later on.
You did get a laugh from the fountain one too. Where he goes, I've been working on a side project too, and the camera pans to a golden fountain.
Oh, yeah.
But I also think him daydreaming of our lead, Cheryl, is probably the best. Yeah, it's my favorite one.
Yeah.
The one that's on the edge for me is also early, and it's he dreams he's like a mountaineer. Because it's what she was just telling her friend about. He imagines he's the like mystery book that she's writing.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I like it because it's like he's going to become that eventually, or something similar to that. So it's like him dreaming that he is that, and then he becomes it in a more realistic way. And here is like the actual fantasy version of it. I like that, but I don't think it's executed as well as it could be. I love Ben Stiller, okay? I love him. He's really good, but I think he's miscast in this movie. I don't think he's the right for the character of Walter Mitty, because I don't know. He just doesn't fit for me. Someone like Jim Carrey or Paul Rudd.
Yeah, there's halfway through, Mark was like, Paul Rudd would have been good in this, and I was like, ooh. Yeah, he would have been. Yeah,
I think Paul Rudd would have been perfect, especially like a bearded Paul Rudd.
Mm-hmm.
like the schlubby Paul Rudd. But I also think Jim Carrey would obviously be perfect for that because Jim Carrey, he radiates that lust for life energy more than Ben Stiller can. But he also has like he can also do like, I mean, a good example of that I think is The Mask, where in the beginning he's like he literally is Walter Mitty, where he's working at the bank and he's kind of like the weird like
I haven't seen that in forever.
It's great. But yeah, I think Jim Carrey would have been better. I love Ben Stiller. I think the thing is, I think this movie would have been better if he wasn't in it because I think he would have been able to focus more on his directing, which I think it's a very well directed movie. But I think if he wasn't worrying about his performance, it probably would have been even better.
I could see that. It's interesting a lot of the choices that are made throughout. Like the beginning credits are all like almost camouflaged into the settings that are going by. There's the motto of life. There's a montage later that it's put on like the signage that they're going through the montage. It's on the pavement of a street. It's not in your face, but I think it's a nice little subtle bit. And then there's some shots that, like, for instance, there's a shot where it's a transition between the 3 pictures that are being used to help track down Sean, and it transitions from the reel to a fountain that's out front that's actually designed to look like a reel of film, and I loved that. And there's a couple like 180 pans that it's enough different cinematography to like keep me interested.
Yeah, the cinematography in the movie is fantastic. It's the best aspect of the film. So with my critique of Walter so far with Ben Stiller's performance, which I think it's a fine performance, I just think it could have been better. That would have been a wiser choice to cast someone different. The other problem is the character of Walter is very flat. So like 2-dimensional. It's not a 3-dimensional character. Maybe in the screenplay when you're reading it is, but on screen it doesn't come off that way. I think you jump way too quickly into Walter's life, or not in his work life and the issues, where we don't get enough time to see Walter as a human being. I think the only thing we have of that is like him, the daydreaming thing, and then 2, like the scene of him by himself making the eHarmony profile.
Yeah.
Which I guess that's supposed to be like, oh, look, he doesn't want to take risks. It takes him a while to do that, blah, blah, blah. But it's also like, yeah, but we should see him interacting with another human being and not Patton Oswalt.
Yeah. There's also, right before the eHarmony stuff, too, he's balancing his checkbook, which is another common theme that pops up throughout the movie, kind of tracking his descent into having no money. And it should, like, beforehand, it shows how he's like has savings and everything and is like building up, and then to change his life it kind of costs him everything, and I liked that little bit too. But I think, like what you're saying, if they just cut the terrible daydreaming ones and just used those extra like 4 minutes for like 2 other scenes of him just like communicating with somebody besides his mom.
Yeah, well, you could have had him communicate with his mom.
Yeah, because it would. I think I do love the mom character, but we did kind of rewrite a scene that was way better later in the movie.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think you could have done that with the mom. Like you could have had him like balancing the checkbook, does the eHarmony thing, and then he goes and meets with the mom, and you get a little sense of what he is. And then like she kind of confronts him on his issues, and he kind of like walks away from them. It's like, I gotta go to work. So then it's like, oh, right there, we got a little bit. We got everything we need to know about him. He's a mama's boy. He avoids conflicts, and he goes and instead of working on conflicts and working on himself, he goes to work.
Well, he does literally do that in the first day of work. His sister is there, and he goes. She's like, I'm auditioning for a part in a play. I want to be Rizzo, and he's like, I don't know what that is. And she's like, happy birthday, as he's leaving and going to work. So he's ignoring his birthday, his family, and going to work.
But I think because the mom's a more prominent character, it would have been better to do that than to have the sister who's like a kind of like a side gag most of the time.
Yeah. Oh, like the whole time.
Yeah.
And
Like,
she gives him the Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. There's
She
a lot
doesn't-
of cringy shit in this movie. And there's like things that happen that are way too convenient to the plot. Where she gives him a Stretch Armstrong thing because they used to play with it as they were kids, and later on he goes to Iceland and he sees these kids with the fucking longboard, and he's like, "I'll trade you this for that," and I was like, "No teenage boy would agree to that."
It's so stupid. Yeah, that's the.
It would have made more sense if he traded a skateboard for a longboard.
Yeah, or like $100.
Yeah.
Like, and then you can even do more of his finances are completely dwindled,
Yeah.
but he chose to get a gift for someone else's kid.
Yeah. And then, the longboard, because the reason why we do that is because, like, the girl that he likes has a son who's into skateboarding, and Ben Stiller was a skateboarding champion
As a child.
which they should have done earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like they tell you that, and then the next scene is him doing kickflips.
Yeah. No, that is a good point.
Like,
could have been set
once
up a little
again,
bit better.
you have him do the eHarmony thing, and then you have his mom be like, "Ben Stiller, come down here," and he goes down there. And she's like, and then so you have her hold the picture. I was like, "Look at you! Remember when you were used to skateboard?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't, yeah, whatever."
Or like, what if he put on his eHarmony account that 25 years ago he won some high school skateboard thing?
Even that.
And Oswald's like, "That's all you got, man."
Yeah. Yeah, something like that, just to set it up earlier, because I feel like they mention it, and then the next scene he's doing kickflips. But anyway,
because they do the Papa John's payoff is set up, like that's set up before he goes anywhere, and then the end of his travels are to Papa John's.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, that's a nice little throwback. And some stuff is set up really well, and then some of it is just like that, where it's like, oh, this thing, next scene, oh. We're gonna use that thing.
I think they needed somebody to like look at the script again and be like,
yeah, it's a long movie too. It's almost 2 hours.
It's not long at all, dude.
That's this movie.
Find a movie that came out in the last 6 months that's not 2 hours and like 40 minutes.
This is how long ago was 2013?
It's like
9 years
ago.
This could have been an hour and a half.
Post
an hour 40.
Post Avengers, every movie had to be like fucking 3 hours.
Yeah, but like I just want. It's such a simple story. Just keep it simple. It doesn't have to be. There's so many of those extra scenes. It's like just cut these out.
Yeah.
Just keep it clean.
The Benjamin Button scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It is terrible. But we also have Kristen Wiig as Cheryl.
Yep.
She's fine. It's one of the
Yeah.
performances by Kristen Wiig that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm. I think it's one of her better ones for sure.
Yeah.
The sister is in WandaVision too.
Is she?
She plays the
witch.
Okay, I was like, Mark hasn't seen it. I know he doesn't care, but I was like, it's kind of a spoiler. But yeah, she's the neighbor witch.
Okay.
And people really liked her in that.
Yeah.
I thought she was
somebody completely different. I thought she was an SNL cast member from the 90s. The one who was in the sketch Sweaty Balls.
Oh no, I don't remember that.
Oh, it was like her, Molly Shannon, and Alec Baldwin, and they're on a radio show, and Alec Baldwin's a guy who has like these like donut balls, but his name is Sweaty. And he calls them sweaty balls, and they're like,
I get it.
Your sweaty balls feel good in my mouth. Big laugh. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, so you can't there's nothing else on, so you watch Saturday Night Live, and it's never good.
Yep. And then Sean Penn, I think's good. There's a great part in this movie where Mark goes, "Man, his skin is bad."
Yeah,
He's looking old.
Sean Penn notoriously just has like the worst skin in film. I think
I think it works great in this movie.
He has what he has. He's got Florida skin. If that makes sense to you.
No, I could see that.
Like like how Hulk Hogan looks.
Yeah,
he's got that fucking.
He looks a little better than Hulk Hogan.
Well, yeah, but like, the skin.
Yeah,
it's the skin. You fucking cut them up. They're like you can make a suitcase out of them. Fucking Leatherman.
Yeah,
that's a quote from a movie. It's this British gangster movie called fucking Sexy Beast, and has the most fucks ever in a movie.
Wow.
Well, until the Wolf of Wall Street happened, but they cheated because Sexy Beast is 80 minutes long.
Wow.
And then they got beat by
a 3 hour?
a 3 hour movie.
It should be fucks per minute.
Yeah. There's like a part where like the gangster's looking at the guy. He's like, "What the fuck you do? Look at your fucking skin. You're like leather man, your skin. I cut you up, make a fucking right suitcase out of you."
It's great. Do you know the mother's?
Yes,
the
the mother is Shirley MacLaine, who is actually one of my all-time favorite actresses, and she is done dirty in this movie.
Very underutilized.
Yeah, very underutilized. She is a treasure. If you want to see some good Shirley MacLaine, everybody, I would recommend watching Some Came Running from 1958 with Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin.
Oh.
She plays a young prostitute who's in love with Frank Sinatra, and Frank Sinatra kind of blows her off until the end, and it's a big sad moment, and it's great. She's also in this great movie called Being There with Peter Sellers. She's also in Terms of Endearment with Jack Nicholson. She's in a lot of great stuff in the 60s as well. Fun fact about Some Came Running, there's a good ad-lib from Frank Sinatra where Dean Martin is like, they're like playing cards, and Dean's like, "Oh, I lost." And then Frank Sinatra goes, "Yeah, ain't that a kick in the head?" He winks. I'm like, good one.
I like it.
But yeah, she's like a non-character in this. She's like, I think like they needed to either have the sister or have the mother.
One of them be more.
I think they could have gave all the sister scenes to
I see what you mean.
the mom, and then vice versa.
That could have worked.
Which I think the mom,
interesting.
The mom shows up at work, and he's like,
because I like that more than the sister showing up. And then like all the stuff with the sister having to be there for the piano, the mom is there anyways.
Yeah.
The only thing would be like, they would just have to change the line at the end where he's like, "You want to go see my sister in a play above some weird church? I can't promise if it'll be good, but..."
Yeah. You can have it be the mom does like weird local community theater stuff where she's like...
that'd be ridiculous. I love that.
Yeah. That'd be hilarious. Because then it's like that thing where like the mom, has like the lust for life that he's going to get later on.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like so stuck at being himself. Like he's so stuck at being this like the worker guy. But he's like weirdly provided for his mother to have the life that she always wanted, and then like
I like that.
Her like with Sean, like telling Sean about him and stuff. It's her giving it back.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah,
that's cool. Let's rewrite. And then the only other like big cast person would be the new boss, the guy who's firing everybody.
Adam Scott.
Adam Scott plays Ted.
Yeah,
I think it's like the change managing
manager. He's a manager of like emerging companies, right?
And he's basically making the decisions for who stays and goes. Yeah, I think he's good in this. Mark made a good little note that he has a beard, and he probably wouldn't if he was this high up, but I think I kind of like him with the beard. And I do like I
think he has too small of a chin for a beard.
I could see that. He looks kind of funny with a full beard.
He looks like a child when they take a black Sharpie marker and draw a beard on their face. That's what Adam Scott looks like with a beard. Look at him. It doesn't look real.
Yeah, it doesn't look real. You're right.
He looks like a kid in middle school playing Abe Lincoln in the school play.
That's great.
It just doesn't look real because it's not real. It's definitely a fake beard. I think the only reason why they have the beard is for the Gandalf joke.
And I do like the Gandalf joke though. That's one of the first daydreams. Is the boss is in the elevator with Walter and two other guys, and he daydreams about making fun of the boss. And the boss discovers that he is a dude who spaces out a lot. Yeah. Which kind of sets all the stuff in motion, but I'm sure they could have thought of another joke.
Yeah. Also, his hair is impressive. I'm looking at it, like his hair, like
staying.
I don't know what he put in his hair. I don't know how people get their hair to stay like that. It's craziness.
The hair department.
Wild.
It's liquid concrete.
Yeah. But his character's fine.
Yeah, there's a lot of fine stuff in this.
Yeah, he's fine. There's another Patton Oswalt.
Oh my God, I forgot about
my one of my enemies. Patton Oswalt plays Guy. Get it? Who's like,
I think he's named.
Is Guy something, right?
I don't know. He's not top billed.
Yeah.
Oh my God, where is he?
Patton Oswalt.
Todd.
Todd?
Todd from eHarmony.
Okay. So he's Todd from eHarmony. I don't know where I got Guy from. So he's Todd from eHarmony, and basically he calls like occasionally. So like Walter tries to send a wink to Cheryl on eHarmony, and she's like, and it won't go through. So he calls eHarmony, and they're like, "Oh, well, because your profile's not done, dude. You gotta like make your profile." And then they find out that Walter is the most boring man in existence, and then he keeps calling him and being like, "Hey, man, where are you?" He's like, "Oh, I just came out of the water. I just fought a shark in Iceland." And he's like, "Oh, no, you're still daydreaming." And then he's like, "Wait, what the fuck? That's real?" Which. Why would the phone still work if it went in the water?
Yeah, there's also, I don't know how great the reception is in the Himalayan mountains on the peaks, but you're closer to space.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit. So one of my
conveniences.
Complaints with the film is it has a very cold atmosphere the whole time. Even toward the end, when it's like he's going to different countries, he's meeting these cool Icelandic dudes, and like they're all chummy. There's something about the movie that feels cold, and like it almost is, and and I'm found movies that feel cold. I love me some Kubrick, but like a movie about getting a lust for life is not the movie you want to have a cold atmosphere on.
No, I could see that. It's shot very blues too. There's not a lot of warmth like anywhere in it.
I think it comes a lot from Ben Stiller's performance. Because even when he's like hanging out with like these cool Icelandic dudes, like Facebook friends, and then he's telling me blah blah things, blah blah. He kind of seems like, okay, where's Sean?
Yeah,
it never feels like he's genuinely getting this lust for life. It feels like it's just happening upon him.
That's a really good point.
That
I never really thought about.
It's not like, not to quote Jim Carrey thing, it's not like Yes Man, where he's this miserable fucking guy who never leaves his apartment and he just watches Transformers all day. And then he starts saying yes to things in life, and then he starts enjoying things, and he's like, yeah, it started off as me just saying yes to everything, but then I started genuinely enjoying these things, and I made friends all along the way doing it. With Walter, it feels like he's so hyper-focused on getting his job done that it's like, while there's lust for life things happening around him, I don't believe that he'd ever do that again. He'd just go back to, being...
No, yeah. I could see... I totally, agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it before.
There's something I'm realizing as I'm rewatching it on mute. I'm getting that vibe. I'm like, why is it so, cold, and it's if you look at his performance, he's very much
timid and I'm fine with that. This is pre helicopter ride,
but
post helicopter ride it should be better.
It never changes enough.
Yeah,
the only thing that changes is he gets a beard and starts looking like he sleeps on his mom's couch.
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with sleeping on your mom's couch.
Mark has something against hoodies.
I kind of do.
They're too easy. You look like a slob.
You look like a slob.
I love me a good...
I think hoodies are great to wear to bed. But anytime I wore them out in public, I always feel uncomfortable. I don't know.
That's how I am with sweatpants. I don't like wearing sweatpants out in public.
I don't like wearing sweatpants, period.
I don't know if it was in the podcast. There's been one time that I've worn sweatpants ever that you saw, and it was like I had just sprained...
Yeah. We were watching a Bond movie.
Yeah, I had tendonitis in my shoulder, and I literally was like, I don't want to pull pants up. It's like, I am just going to keep sweatpants on and
that was a distracting episode of Bond, because Nick's cock is in front of me the entire time.
It's the gray sweatpants edition.
Yeah. I'm trying to watch Roger Moore save the world, and Nick's cock's fucking flopping all over the place. So, what am I supposed to do? Anyway, I wonder who they got to be Walter Mitty when he
while he was gone.
Well, no, when he's doing the skateboarding stuff.
Oh yeah, because it almost they're later on with the longboarding stuff. There are shots that are him. When he stops, he does a slide. It's 100% not him, and it cuts to a wide of him clearly just leaning up from the ground. But from the quick Google search I did, I didn't see like a credited stunt double.
Yeah, I wonder a lot of the skate moves that he's doing, like when he's doing like a post kickflip, like those are very Ronnie Mullen-esque tricks, and that'd be actually kind of cute because Ronnie Mullen, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe Ronnie Mullen's the one who invented the kickflip.
Oh, that's cool.
And Ronnie Mullen's a cool guy. But anyway, what else do I not like about this movie?
So we can go through some of the quote unquote adventures.
Yeah, go for it. This is your movie.
The first one so the idea is there's a missing photo. Sean, who is the photographer, says, I want the missing photo to be the cover. And Walter is like, I don't know where it is. I'll try to connect with Sean and see if somehow he forgot it on him. And that's what sets in motion these events. They get where his last paycheck was shipped to, because Sean is very old-fashioned, shooting on film, sending telegrams. He doesn't have a cell phone, so they just kind of send a bunch of checks everywhere. But the most recent one was in Iceland, so that's where we first go. Oh, sorry, it's in Greenland. So we head there, and we meet our drunken helicopter pilot, which I like that scene a whole lot. I think there's a lot of great characters that show up in these little adventure segments.
Yeah.
I think he's one of my favorite ones because I feel for him. He's a guy in Greenland. He goes, yeah, there's like 8 people here, and then he cheated on his girlfriend and is drinking in the bar. And he's like, don't cheat on your girlfriend in a country with 8 people.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that the radio on the boat that Sean is on is broken, and he's actually bringing out the pieces to it through heli mail. So jumps on there, heads out to the boat. Shark attack. Looked all right. I think it was kind of funny. He jumps out of the wrong side of the plane.
It's no Jaws.
Yeah. Oh, wink, wink, everybody. That was good.
I know.
The
shark also bites a fucking inflatable boat.
Yeah, and that
boat doesn't pop.
That little segment at the end wasn't needed. If it was just a shark fin going around him and there's this huge argument about whether it was a shark or not, that'd be pretty funny. But like, he doesn't have to like fist fight it.
Yeah, no.
We meet there's a really cool guy on the boat who loves American guys and impersonates Fonzie. Gives Walter new clothes
and cake.
And cake, yes.
Which is actually his mom's cake.
Yes. Walter doesn't realize it. He's like, oh, my mom makes cake like this. And then later on in the movie, we find out that's literally his mom's cake. That's
Clementine cake.
Yep.
Right?
It looks cool. Yeah, Clementine cake. And she cuts up slices of clementines and puts them on top.
Yeah.
It looks delicious. Would eat.
Yeah.
And then we're in Iceland.
Those guys are my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like this movie is trying to be its generation's Forrest Gump.
Yeah, I guess I could say
I just made that connection now because of the idea of like why Walter is such a weirdo and so hyper focused on things. But I think it doesn't work like it does in Forrest Gump, which I don't think Forrest Gump's a movie that works 100%. I think it's a very good movie, but I think its messaging is kind of fucked up. Like Forrest is just this guy who has no awareness of what's going on around him, and all these things that are happening are very important. Whereas these are all just like people who are just living their lives, and Walter's just kind of being like, "Yeah, I need to get this thing." Well, Forrest is never going for a thing.
Yeah,
he's just kind of like going with the flow, and I think that's like
sense.
the big difference of why that one works and why this one doesn't work. I don't think the characters are kooky enough.
Yeah, I think the
boat
is good.
The boat and the helicopter are fantastic. It's just
and then it just drops so hard.
Because then you have a guy who's just yelling about a volcano.
And I think so.
You don't spend enough time with anybody else.
Well, the kids are terrible. That whole scene is awful. I think it is a good scene to have in the movie, but it's just done terribly.
Yeah.
The hotel guy is just screaming. I think he has a nice scene when they get to Papa John's.
Mm-hmm.
But his whole thing of rescuing Walter I don't like. And then I do like the Himalayan tour guides. And I think the warlords look kind of cool. They pick up the cake with the bayonet and eat it off the bayonet. And I was like, oh, I kind of like that. But it's also kind of like...
Yeah. But it's also because like they're not giving anybody characters. Like they're
that's like each of those is like what
a couple seconds.
Yeah,
like the Iceland,
a minute.
like the guy in Iceland who saves him from the volcano. Like he has no time with him at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and it's weird because we earlier were saying this movie could be shorter, but it could be longer.
I mean, it could stay the same. Just put the time in the right places.
Yeah.
Instead of where it ended up. Some of the deleted scenes, and I haven't watched the deleted scenes in a couple of years, but like the first flashback with not the explosion one, the like mountaineering guy one, that's way longer in the original one, and I'm so glad they cut it down. Because even though I like that one, I think what they had's fine. There's like a whole extra scene of him like using the Falcon and like climbing up to her, and it's just not needed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad this isn't a 3-hour movie.
Oh yeah. I wasn't saying it should be a 3-hour movie, but I think this could be a perfectly 2-hour on the dot movie.
I want with hour and a half
with good time, like spread.
Yeah, I guess I'd have to think about it more. I guess because I want this movie to be 90 minutes so badly, and I do think the adventures would be too short though.
Yeah, I think it needs to be a 2-hour movie. 1 hour or like 30 to 40 minutes of setup.
Yep.
Rest of it be
and then
film.
like 15 of wrapping up.
Yeah. But like I said, we don't spend much time with people, and that's like the whole point is like Walter's supposed to be engaging with people more, but we don't see him engage with people that much.
Yeah, well, it's like you see him stand up for himself at the end and like have the courage to actually talk to Cheryl, but like besides that, he doesn't have enough human moments besides that.
Yeah, and I think like the him standing up for himself moment was more of like him being pushed to do it rather than like him like realizing on his journey that it's what he has to do. Yeah, I think it's because the guy was like, "You're fired," and he's like, actually, I've worked here for 16 years and I've never misplaced a thing. He's like, cool, get that on a plaque and put it at your next job. Like, what does that mean to me? You lost the thing.
But he stands up for himself again with the picture.
Yeah, but he's also giving them what they wanted. So
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, job's done.
Yeah, like he's just doing his job at that point.
Yeah,
that he doesn't even have.
Yeah, that's not his job now.
Yeah, and I always hate when that happens in movies. Like, when the lowly guy who busts his ass for the company goes and he tells off the big boss. And I'm like, and then
just because you want to do it IRL.
No, well, everyone wants to do it IRL, obviously, but it's like when they cut to the boss and the boss is like, I've never seen it that way. It's like that boss doesn't care.
Yeah,
that boss will be cool.
Can confirm.
The boss will be cool. You can now pack up your things and go, or we will arrest you and throw you in jail.
Yeah.
Like, you can, it's like, they don't give a fuck. They've heard this 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Because people have watched movies and they've done this.
Yeah.
and then they're like, cool, you're fired. You know, so unless it's like something like, I think one of the only times that the shit kind of like worked for me is in American Beauty. And that's only because he's like, yeah, this is what I want. And if you don't do it, I'm going to blackmail you. And I'm like, that's real.
Yeah.
Now that's real.
That's great.
But
like that.
You know, it's not Ben Stiller being like, "Hey, you need to treat people nicer."
Yeah.
And it's like, no, he's
and he goes, "He's right. I do need to treat people nicer."
Yeah.
And then
so the thing with Sean, so he goes to find Sean, and Sean's like, "Oh, I put it in this wallet that I gave the negative in this wallet that I gave you."
Yeah,
and
he gives him a gift.
And he's like, "You're sitting on the thing," and he's like, "I threw it out," and he's like, You're always like, well, first off, rude.
Yeah, I don't know why, but a lot of the lines in this movie I remember because I've seen it so many times, but I always want him to say, how is that supposed to make me feel?
Yeah.
And I don't know where I got that from, and like it crossed, because I remember it from a movie, and he just goes, well, that kind of hurts my feelings.
Yeah.
And I love that scene.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah, and then you get Sean, and Sean's like, hippy dippy Sean Penn style character, you know, very much into the wild. Very much of like, oh yeah, I'm a photographer and I have this like cool thing I can take a picture of, but I just want to live in the moment.
Yeah.
It's like, shut up.
I love that, but at the same time, I'm like, this is so dumb.
It is.
Like, you're literally on assignment to take pictures of this animal that you are looking at right now through a camera. He's like, I don't want to be distracted by the camera. I'm like, homie, you're using it as a telescope.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? You don't want to use the camera.
Yeah. It's
like, just hit the button.
It's that stupid thing that movies tell you to do, where it's just like, just live in the moment, forget everything else. It's like, cool. Then you're gonna be like Walter, and you're gonna be fucking broke, and you're gonna be fucking, and you're gonna be put on the street unless this girl who's actually married has like bails you out.
Yeah. That's great. Or Todd.
Yeah.
Get you a job at eHarmony.
Yeah.
So after we get to Sean, we discover, Walter had the slide all the time. All this adventure was for something,
but he threw it out. So he's never going to know what it is. And then he sells the piano.
Yeah. Well, first, after him and Sean join a soccer match, he flies back to America, and TSA pulls him aside because he's flying back from Afghanistan, and he has his, I forget what it's called. It's like a wood flute that the shepherds gave him while they were taking him up to the Himalayan peaks. And there's a really bad X-ray scene that also could have been cut. And
egregious.
It's interesting because of the things I would cut, that's the one that I'm like, I guess it can stay, but I think it would have been better without it. If it just hard cuts to him in prison, and they're like, "Why do you have this?"
They actually do that in Yes Man.
Dun, dun, dun.
And they do it right.
Yes Man's like early 2000s, right?
It's 2008.
Okay.
I think this definitely took a lot from Yes Man. So there's a part where they're like, because they kind of point out the way they do it to Walter, where they're like, you did this, this, and this. Like, why'd you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Where in Yes Man they make it a gag. Why? Because it's just like, all right, yeah, I know that looks bad. Mm-hmm. Like you got a random ticket to Nebraska.
Yeah. I have seen that part.
Yeah, and you're also on a website called PersianWifeFinder.com and stuff. Like, I think, all right, I can explain that one. Like,
I just say yes to everything.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's also like, they've been building to it the whole time. Whereas this one, it's just like he went to Afghanistan, and now the government's just like beating him up, and because he has a flute. And also, why would you at TSA be like,
why would you hit a TSA officer?
Exactly. When you clearly can just be like, hold up.
Yeah, this is a flute, not a katana.
Yeah.
Wait, he was getting off the plane too.
So he got on the plane with it. Well, he got to probably Icelandic
that makes sense.
People, or they were.
I was like, wait, hold on. They let him on the plane with it. They're mad he came home with it.
Yeah.
And they go, do you know anybody in LA we can release you to? And he goes, no.
And it's Todd from eHarmony.
Yep.
Patton Oswalt makes his grand appearance, everybody.
At a Cinnabon.
I don't know if I've talked about my dislike of Patton Oswalt, but I dislike Patton Oswalt.
You might have. Ratatouille came up a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it might have been in that. But.
Yeah, I don't like Patton Oswalt. He's probably a great guy, but I find him annoying.
I'm sure other people or people listening have heard of Red Letter Media. He has a pretty funny episode with them.
Yeah.
Of Best of the Worst.
He reminds me of a not as funny Nathan Lane. Does that make sense? You ever see The Birdcage or Mouse Hunt?
I have seen Mouse Hunt.
He's the guy in Mouse Hunt.
Oh my God, he even looks like him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Nathan
I can see that.
Nathan Lane's hilarious. And like, who is he in fucking Lion King? He's
Timon?
yeah.
Hold on, let me check.
Timon's the little muskrat guy, right? Yeah, that's who he is.
Nice.
Patton Oswalt can't sing Hakuna Matata.
True.
Yeah, not the Elton John reference on the show, everybody. I want to keep them coming.
We could keep the streak going
until it's all going to culminate. The final episode of Mark and Nick's excellent podcast is watching the movie Rocket Man.
And Mark just covering all of the albums.
Yeah. He's great. So
you want to do the final stuff? Or?
Well, no, we got to talk about the stupid reveal of what the picture is and everything.
Oh yes.
So Walter, sells the piano because he needs money to support himself, and so he sells his mom's piano that her father bought him.
I never really thought about that.
So, he's like, oh, I don't have any money. He's like, well, because you don't have a wallet. Here it is. And she has the wallet that he threw out in a scene. He's just like, she's like, I told you, I keep all your old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, shut up, up, movie. I know you set it up, but like, you didn't set it up well.
Mm-hmm. See, I am the only. Well, it's not one of the only ones, but I actually really like the setup for this one. I think the execution of that returning of the wallet is terrible, though. And this is where me and Mark like rewrote the entire scene of having it not be there, but having it be in the mom's apartment instead of at the
piano place.
I was gonna say, what do you call a piano salesman?
Yeah. So what you do is you have him sitting on like the piano bench. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense of why they would keep the bench, but just use it for aesthetical purposes.
Mm-hmm.
He's sitting there where the piano that we have seen the entire movie be. And you have him like kind of like staring at this empty space, and the mom sits next to him, and she's just like, "It's okay, a piano isn't a symbol of your father's love, all that shit, Yeah,
they don't really talk about it that much.
Yeah, you can just and then you can have that be a thing where, and then he's like looking through like the book, of like all the stuff. He's looking through the book of all the memories because the dad bought him the travel book, and he's looking through that. She's like, that's his love, not the book. The things that he gives, the things that he's like.
Yeah, your work trip.
Yeah, the things that he inspired you to do, stuff like that. And because also like earlier in the movie, you could have set all this up where you can have she'd be like, oh, remember when you skateboard? He's like, I don't do that anymore, blah blah. She's just like, come on, but she's like, oh, look at this. Oh, she has like the skateboard. He's like, oh, why do you keep that? She's like, I keep all of your old stuff.
Yeah,
instant right there. One scene in the beginning of the movie, we could have set up the entire fucking thing.
And I also, the more I think about it too, having the sister be the mom, or that sounds weird.
Does the mom be the sister?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would have liked that more too.
Yeah, because then she shows us to the work. She's like, "Oh, look what I found in the attic. Your old Stretch Armstrong. Happy birthday!" And he's like, "Mom, like, I'm 40.
Yeah, I'm literally going into work. Why do you keep coming in here?"
Yeah.
I'm glad.
How do you keep getting down here? Yeah. And she's that's because that's more relatable than an annoying sister.
Yeah.
Because how often is your sister gonna go to your fucking work? I'm an only child, so I don't know, but I could be wrong. Sound off in the comments. So
sound off.
You have like, but it's more relatable that you're going to work and your fucking mom, who means well, is there, and you're like, fuck, this is the last person I wanted to see other than my boss.
Yep,
is there. And so I don't know. Yeah, I think, and it also gave Shirley MacLaine more to do, and Shirley MacLaine deserves it because she's a great actress, and Hollywood has this thing where once a woman turns 60, they stop casting her and stuff, and bullshit.
Yep.
Shirley MacLaine should be in every movie. She's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And I don't want to discount her performance in this. It's not a great part, but she does a really good job in it.
Yeah, she does. She does wonders with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The movie lets her down considerably, and like I said, if you would have had one scene in the beginning, right after the eHarmony thing, right before we have our first fantasy, would have changed. That could have been the first fantasy.
Oh, what if he misses the train and his mom has to drive him to work?
Oh, then you missed the fantasy. Oh yeah,
yeah, because he misses the train because of his thinking.
And then she's driving him to work, and you have another scene with the two of them. He's like, "Mom," and that's instead of having the Rizzo shit, you have that. She's like, "Well, I'm going to be playing this character.
I'm going to be a stunt driver.
I'm going to be, yeah. For those 10 minutes, I'm yours. I drive. That's all." She puts toothpick in.
The same jacket too.
She's like, "Want to see something?" She brings her to the fucking reservoir. That's the funniest thing in that fucking movie.
Just some people, those are all Drive references.
Yeah, that's the funniest fucking part of that movie. Is that he's like, "Want to see something?" And then they frame it like a fucking romantic scene. How beautiful it is. He's just driving her through a fucking reservoir, the Los Angeles Reservoir. They're probably driving over shit and piss and like puke, and they're like, "Isn't it gorgeous? Because it's sunset."
Yeah.
And they're two hot blonde people smiling at each other.
Yep. Dude, it's Hollywood.
Oh man, I love that movie. Incels Unite.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. So yeah, it would have been better. You know.
I'm trying to.
I just love the idea that you have like 80-year-old Shirley MacLaine doing community theater.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, I'm playing Juliet," and then
yeah,
I'm playing a 16-year-old.
Yeah, that would be great
for the senior citizen plays.
Mm-hmm. I kind of liked the idea. It was like improv comedy better.
Yeah, Shirley MacLaine's doing improv. I like that.
Are you coming to my improv show?
Her first film was a comedy movie, so that'd be pretty a good, nice little wink, wink. It's called Artists and Models. It was a Jerry Lewis Dean Martin movie. It's decent. It's probably the best Dean Martin Jerry Lewis movie.
Ooh,
which isn't saying a lot because their movies are really annoying.
I can't recall any I've seen.
When they work together, they're the most annoying thing ever.
Oh, that's great.
Because Jerry Lewis doesn't talk like a normal person. That's where he talks like this the whole movie. It's fucking terrible. It makes me want to die.
It sounds terrible.
Co-host of 296, Tyler White, was obsessed with those movies and used to make me watch them constantly. I wanted to fucking jump out of a window. I'm haunted at night by hearing, "Dean, I'm scared." All right, let's see the ratings.
I could.
Oh yeah,
Tyler doing that too.
The fucking pictures in the thing. The pictures in the wallet. He's the picture.
Yeah, it's a picture. It's me and Mark both agreed it's a good picture.
Very good picture.
So the whole journey of this movie, Sean was trying to take a picture of Walter working, so that's why he met with Walter's mom to go through and like see what his schedule was, and then he did some reconnaissance, took a picture of him, then went back on assignment and sent him the role, with that one being a little treat in the middle. And shockingly, they make it the cover, even though he just told off the change managing guy. And I think they would have gone, throw that out.
Yeah,
we're not making the cover him.
Yeah, this fucking asshole who has the coldest personality ever.
And then Walter gets with Cheryl, and then they walk by a newsstand that has it, and there's a nice little scene where that I really like, where they just walk away from it, and Cheryl's like, "Are you gonna buy one of those?" And he's like, "I just didn't know if they would be cool or not, so I'm gonna buy it later."
That's funny.
That's what I was like. That's something that I would be like, "Can I buy this in front of the girl I like?"
No.
Do you want me to buy you a copy too?
Nick's the kind of guy that goes to Bull Moose and has a movie that he did sound for, and he would buy the copy in front of the girl and be like, "See the guy's name looks sound? It's me."
Yeah, I got this for your collection.
I got 7 at home.
It's like I reorganized. I'm trying to downsize stuff, and I was reorganizing stuff, and Daddy's Home 2 was there, and I was like, "You stay."
Yeah, you're in it.
I still don't think I'm in it, but
you're in it. I know exactly the scene that you're in, and I know exactly the point that you're at.
Me and Kyle
had to clean that movie every fucking day for months, and I can tell you that you're in the movie.
I'm really hoping I'm not, because I'm not supposed to be. If I'm in it, it's like a scene where I'm just watching from the side.
You nod your head up and you go, "Huh," like that.
No, that sounds about right.
Yeah. You're there for like 2 seconds tops, but you're there.
I'll find it. I have a big TV now, so I can try to watch. Ooh, what did I do?
Yeah, let's do the ratings.
Alrighty. So the first one's story. I really like this story. I guess it had a impression on me. Mark's looking at me like he's gonna give it like a 1. I'd probably give it like a 4. You can be harsh.
All right, 2.5.
2.5. Nice. I think our version of it's so much better.
Nick just clenched his fist and glared at me.
Yeah.
Gave me the Kubrick scare.
The next one's directing.
4.5.
I was like, I thought it was going to be a 4.5. I put 4.5 because I don't know. I think he did a good job. I think the DP carried it a lot.
Yeah, the cinematography, which we'll get to in a bit.
We can just do that next, actually.
Yeah, cinematography 5 stars.
Yeah, there's so many creative shots, and I think they did some cool stuff with lighting.
Yeah, I think what Ben Stiller's trying to do is admirable. I just don't think the movie comes together because I think the script needed a couple more drafts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. Acting. I'm at like 4.
2.5.
So just to remind everybody, this is my nostalgia pass one.
Yeah.
So Mark's gonna be way more mean because unlike his pick of I always want to say over the edge.
Yeah.
Over the edge. It's not a classic.
Well, Over the Edge isn't known as a classic. It's known as like an underrated thing that like 70 people saw.
Yeah, and mine's just not even known.
I mean, you know.
I'm surprised how forgotten this movie is.
Well, because
I don't think
it bombed.
Yeah, it didn't do well. I saw this in theaters.
Yeah.
This was one of those movies where at the time I was starting a showcase.
Yeah.
And I was like just doing blind runs and I was like, that was really good for knowing nothing about the movie. I had fun. And that has stuck with me forever.
I'll give the acting 3.
Nice. And I think honestly, oh, hold on, that's the last thing.
Yeah, Nick was getting teary-eyed looking at me, and he's like, "This is my nostalgia film." So I was like, "All right, I'll bump it up a half star."
The score I really like.
Yeah, I'll give that a 4.
Okay, I'm giving it a 4 too. Even the songs that they pick, it is all like indie hipster music, which I have a soft spot for.
Yeah,
as
the Growlers' #1 fan. I was actually watching this and being like, they could have put the Growlers in a couple of.
That would have been sick.
That's a song. What's that one? 1 million something.
Oh my god! I was like, 1 million lovers is the name of the song. I was waiting for him to literally sing 1 million lovers. I was like, you're about to say it.
Yeah,
that's a good song. That would have been good.
Yeah, because I could see that being with like when like the birds fly and he sees Cheryl, and you hear the 1 million lovers look cool. Like her. Yeah.
They talk about the Strokes in this movie, and there's no Strokes song.
Yeah,
missed opportunity.
Another song I think could have been in there. Should have been "God Only Knows" by the Beach Boys.
Beach Boys have some like
bangers.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a good way to describe it, but I could not get to bangers for some reason. But they got some good stuff.
Every song on Pet Sounds, dude. Pet Sounds rules.
What movie had a Beach Boys song from Bond?
Oh, View to a Kill when they put California Girls.
It was so out of place.
East Coast girls are hip.
The art direction I really like. The only big problem I have is the longboard.
All right, I'm giving that 2.
Really?
Art direction, yeah.
I love The Office. I love the photo processing
too blue.
area.
It's too blue.
It is very blue. That is a good point.
It's too mechanical. If you a good example of how I want an office in a film to look like that. I don't know if you've ever seen All the President's Men.
No.
That's what I want it to look like.
Is it just paperwork everywhere?
It's paperwork everywhere. As like every light is coming from above.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. Well, this office had a lot of windows, so I kind of give it a pass. Have you seen Spotlight?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly what I want.
That's Now that I think of it, I like that a lot. Have you seen The Wire?
No, I've been dying to see The Wire.
The Wire is there. I think it's in the second season, but there's the way they set up their like office because they get like a special branch for themselves. I'm like, oh, this is like what I want. We're a weird branch of the cops, like where we're not just the main guys. We do this specific topic. Oh yeah. That's perfect. That's all the Kingsmen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks exactly what I would be expecting.
Yeah.
In this, you see Cheryl's desk at one point, and there's like 5 binders nicely organized behind her, and there's just like nothing else. I'm like, she is like the intern basically, but
she's also communicating with a lot of people at once, so she's
Yeah.
having a lot more shit spread out.
exactly.
Also, she's only been there for a month. Like, they should also be like, she should be like, yeah, I'm kind of freaking out.
Yeah, and for a company that is the reason this whole thing has happened is because it's going digital. It would have been cool to show more paper stuff in the upstairs. I think the photo lab is perfect though.
Yeah, the photo lab looks great, but their actual office, I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of the way that they did the old folks' home retirement facilities. I don't
It's
like
pretty empty.
Yeah, I don't like any of that. I think the best stuff is like the landscapes and like the boat.
Saved by that. Yeah, the boat is pretty nice,
Yeah.
and they're only in there for a little while though. And then like you said, the Himalayas. It's just like overhead shots of the mountain peaks and stuff. So like they didn't do anything. It just looks good.
Yeah.
The costuming. I think his costuming. I like how he kind of evolves throughout. Like he kind of picks up stuff as he's going.
Yeah.
Like I really like the sweater he gets from.
I do too. I would wear the fuck out of that.
I want to wear those so badly, but I do not look good in them. I need to get
out. You probably
or something
do
for it.
If you wear that, but you have like a collar underneath, you'd be fine.
That's what I used to. I gotta show you child pictures of me and how I was like.
Yeah, well, now you're a man. You got a beard.
That's a good point. Yeah, there's all my friends call me the old man of the group.
Yeah.
Because I always dressed like an old person.
Yeah.
And then editing is last. Which
we're gonna give it 2.5 because they left in 3 scenes that could have easily been cut.
Yeah.
And needed to be cut.
I'm just gonna give it a 2 because, like, unexcusable some of the stuff that they were like. This is fine. There are a lot of great transitions, but I think I credit that more to these ones. I credit more to cinematography than to editing.
Yeah.
And then standout performance, which I'm gonna say Hernando, the guy who works under Walter.
I'm gonna say the guy on the boat.
Yeah. No, you're right. He is better.
Yeah.
But I really like him.
Yeah, I know. I feel that. Either him or Sean Penn, I guess.
Yeah. Sean Penn's great. I think he's like perfectly cast for like the photojournalist guy who's still 100% old school. He's like, keep that cell phone away from me.
Yeah. I'm trying to think
I don't want
I'm trying to think who else could be
5G.
good in that role. I don't know. Like,
Harrison Ford.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Kurt Russell though.
Kurt Russell is perfect in every way. So.
And Kevin Bacon.
So I never really think of him for stuff. I could see him in this though.
Yeah.
But I think Sean Penn did a better job than I think Bacon would have.
You know who would have been good in this role?
Oh, he clapped. I know it's real.
Sean Connery.
Oh, that I don't know.
Oh yeah. Can you not see Sean Connery sitting on a fucking mountaintop in the fucking Himalayas
in 2013? I don't know.
Being like, I want to live in the moment.
Yeah, I think he would do a great job with it. I don't know if 2013 would have been the year I would have liked him in it.
Yeah.
If it was like, I could picture like
90s.
I would like to see. No, the movie wouldn't really work that well because they wouldn't be closing for a digital thing. But I'd love to see this as like a period piece back in the day with like a 60s like documenting like the Vietnam War or something.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Me and Greg at this point, like, everything needs to be a period piece to take place in the 60s, 70s. Everything.
Mark's changing me.
Everything.
That period pieces are great.
Everything should be in the 70s. Everyone should have bell bottoms. They should all be watching that fucked up shit they're watching over the edge on TV with a bunch of fucking shapes.
Just triangles and diamonds floating around.
But yeah, overall, I give the film 3.5.
Yeah, I got to give it a 5. This will always be in my Letterboxd top 4.
Yeah.
As much as there are parts that I hate,
Yeah.
I can't get away from this movie.
Well, Nick, do you want to announce what we're doing for the next month?
Oh, yeah. There's some of you with sharp ears might have heard a Jaws joke earlier. There's a reason we laughed hard at it.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing 4 weeks of Jaws.
Yes, all 4 Jaws movies. And I'm going to be...
Welcome to summertime.
I don't think I've ever talked about this on this specific podcast, but I'm going back to my roots, everybody. So back in 2009, 2010, your boy Mark used to have a YouTube channel.
Oh, wow.
I used to I wanted to be on the channel Awesomes back in the day. And back then you needed a gimmick, you know? And mine was Mark, the Shark Guy.
Wow.
And I reviewed shark movies. All the videos are lost to time, but my catchphrase was, "Chomp chomp, it's me, Mark, the Shark Guy."
Wow. That's fantastic.
So we're going back to my roots, everybody. We're watching some shark movies.
I'm so excited to hear you say that 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Because you have to say it.
Every time. We're going to open it up.
Nick and Mark's
So we're going to be... I'll end it the way I used to end it. We'll be swimming into your view box real soon.
View box. Oh, my God.
Something like that. Or subscription box.
That's funny.
Stupid.
That's amazing. I love that. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
Nope.
Well, that's all, folks.
That's all, folks. No, we'll be swimming into your subscription box next week with Jaws, the original 1975 Steven Spielberg masterpiece. Thanks for listening to this episode. As always, be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube, and also be sure to leave a review here on Spotify. We love you, and we hope you have a good one.
Have a good one, everybody.